Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
Excellent, and we are live. So, welcome to a Coffee with Karen, a cup of positivity with just a sprinkling of woo-woo. So each week, my guests tend to be around the holistic health arena and either coming from a mental, a physical or a spiritual perspective, or any combination or all three, which is really what we're all about. Your host, my name is Karen Roberts. I suppose I would consider myself a holistic transformation coach. I suppose I help people find their mojo, and we look at the mental, the physical and spiritual. So I'm so excited for my guest today. Her name is Nina Masic, and well, rather than me introduce her, Nina, if you could share with the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me, Karen. I'm so excited to be on your podcast. Who am I? I am intuitive healer by birth, so I'm born like that. When people ask me, kind of like, how do you do? How do you heal? It's kind of like asking you, how do you breathe? I don't know. I cannot distinguish one from the other. Though when growing up, actually in a large family, both sides of my parents, I have approximately 20 uncles and aunts. Thereof, their offspring of there's offspring. I'm sorry, it's kind of like minimum 3 to 4 children, so quite large a family. But everyone has its own gifts, of course. And growing up, it was always kind of like hinted, not said, don't be too big for your britches, kind of like don't rely on your gift too much, because you have to learn a trade actually to go work, right? Monday to Friday, office hours and something like that. So I did my best actually to kind of like live with my gift up to my 25th year, kind of like early 20s, mid 20s. And because I already had a good profession, a risk management, and I thought, well, I'm set for life, right? And I try to ignore my intuitive side and my gifts that came along. It's not only intuitive healing, but around 2010, 2012, I was burned out in corporate world, and thought kind of like, okay, what should I do? There were kind of like reorganizations. People laid off, and I thought I can go through this, or I can take a break and see what happens. 2 years later, I was kind of like bored to whatever it is, and decided I can go back to the corporate, pick up my profession and go from there, or I could take time to see through with my gift. What can I do? Can I have a practice with it? But I am here in the Netherlands, and in that time in the Netherlands, it wasn't that big of a deal, kind of like everybody is asking, kind of, are you certified? How can you certify something that you are born with? Exactly. And from one to another, and I wasn't going to give interviews. I'm kind of like, well, maybe referrals, we'll come to it. But and I was doing everything my own, kind of like managing my social media, talking to people, leads, referrals. Well, it was kind of a job, to be honest with you, kind of like doing everything my own. So I decided, as of this year, January the 1st, I will delegate. I have three excellent people working with me, and one is PR, the other is doing the social media managing, and one is doing my website. As of that moment, when I decided, kind of like, I'm going to do this, to delegate more, I felt such a release, kind of like I can sit back, relax, and enjoy what I'm doing. So I'm enjoying life more at the moment. Sorry
That
for taking this long.
No, do not apologize at all. English isn't your first language. I'm so glad you're here. And I think this is really important for the listeners. It's very interesting what you said about we are brought up to believe that this is the thing we've got to do and ignore your gut instinct. And so in a way, maybe you'd even suppressed it away. We're just taught not to go with it. These are the practical things that we need to do. And I find it fascinating that it's almost like the universe put something in place to stop you, to say, enough, Nina, you're not on purpose. This isn't what you're meant to be doing. You have this gift that you can help others. But I find it fascinating that we've been conditioned to not go down that path. And what you just said earlier about that feeling of once you made the decision to do it, you had that, you could sit back, you said. So that feeling of relief. And again, is that not your intuition telling you that, yes, I'm on the right path? Would that be so?
Absolutely. You can do two things in your life. Something that gives you hell yes feeling, kind of like, yes, I'm going to do it, or kind of the feeling, I'm not sure, maybe later. So those are indications, actually, antenna, telling you which way to go.
And why is it, do you think, that we have all been almost told not to listen to that inner voice, if you like, whatever it is, whether it's a voice, whether it's a feeling in your gut, whatever it is, it's the same thing. Would I be right?
Yes, you are right. I can only answer your question from my own experience. I'm sorry, from my own experience. And for example, my parents are born after the second World War. My father is from 43, and my mom is from 48.
Right.
Exactly. So after war, it's kind of like you have to make money to kind of like survive, especially in a large family that my parents are from. And they did their best, of course. I have two siblings, so with their three children, to teach them skills, what they got from their parents, and to go from there. Of course, that is something to kind of like have, and to have perspective. But not everybody is for a job from 9 to 5, and not everybody is for holistic practice and healing. So at some point in time, you have to make a decision, kind of like, okay, I have enough tools in my backpack I received from my family, from my parents, grandparents, and everybody, but then you make a decision for yourself. Am I going the right way, or should I experience that what is kind of like nudging me toward to, as
Right.
I did?
And do you think that it's fear that stops us? It is this sort of fear of the material, fear that I'm not going to make it, I won't be able to make the mortgage or the rent. How am I going to... What do you think is the biggest reason why people do not follow their intuitive purpose? as it were?
For me, it was actually I took a big paycheck cut, to be honest with you, and I thought kind of like, well, okay, there's not going to be that many vacations upcoming years, kind of like until I get a revenue in my healing business, but. I think it's kind of like you are paving your own path. It's not yellow brick road, as they say. You are paving your own path, and you make mistakes along the way, like I did. I did it all on my own, and it was too much, and I couldn't see my family for a long time because it creeps up on you. The time creeps up on you. Kind of like you're so focused. You have to do. Copy, you have to manage your social media, you have to do all those things. And when I decided to work with people who are excellent in what they do, I now have time for my family and go on outings. But with COVID right now, there are no outings.
Yeah, sure. So finally, you're doing what you love. You now have time to spend with your family. And so do you feel that now you are on purpose, that you do have this work-life balance?
Yes. Right. Absolutely. And if I may interject one more thing, it's kind of like you have so much space. The time doesn't matter anymore. The time crept up on me so many times, and right now it's kind of like everything is in a flow.
Yes, and that's where everybody wants to be. If we could inspire the listeners to go with their gut a little bit more and go with the flow and have that faith that we are being guided. I mean, I think the world would be a lot more happier place, right?
Absolutely, I agree totally. Yeah.
So, can you share with us a little bit more about how you do? So, you say you're an intuitive healer. Now,
yes.
How is it? Is that like I don't know, compared to say somebody who does Reiki? Do you? Is there a connection, or is it completely different?
Well, I think the similarity are that is about energy, Reiki and intuitive healing. I have done Reiki. Had some sessions on Reiki, and those are good. I mean, it helps people, right? But intuitive healing, for example, I have 1 hour session with a client, and when I'm with a client, I don't put up my hands like this, like Reiki practitioner does. I do it with my mind, I think. So I tune into the energy field, and I automatically see where the blocks are. The blocks are the stagnant energy that's built up throughout the years. But it's not only in your lifetime at this moment. It can be in your previous lifetimes.
Ooh.
But it also has to do with the energy of the people you grew up with, your aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, school teachers, friends, and something like that. So as they say, we have a shadow self. Yes, we have a shadow self, but it's kind of like the backpack, and you put everything in the backpack that you don't want to be confronted or bothered at that point. But as the time goes by, so many things come on your path, and you forget about things. So it's not kind of like it's years can go by, and all of a sudden something pops up that you think kind of like, why is this bothering me right now? I don't know why is this bothering me, because you can be triggered by random person on the street.
Right, so we build up what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you're saying that we are going to be influenced by the people that are around us. And I suppose that's why we do. I mean, you can feel it sometimes, can't you, that you're absorbing somebody's energy. So I suppose all these things, we can pick up things along the way. So which is, I suppose, what's the saying about, do you come with baggage? We all come with baggage because we've been, and is this a choice? Do you have people that don't carry energy forward, or is there something that people can do to not carry that forward?
Everybody does it, to be honest with you, but I think you're asking, can you read everybody? Right?
No, what I'm asking is, can a human go through life without taking? Is there something that we can do so that we don't absorb people's energies?
Yes, we can do that, and it's called mindfulness.
Mindfulness. That's where the
exactly. Eckhart Tolle had it right when he said, kind of like, be in the moment and absorb the light. Sit on a bench in the park and kind of like observe around you. But
right.
do not interact or react. Can you do that?
Love that. And that is, I mean, I know, there's books written on it, speakers have spoken on it, and we always come back, I don't know, every 10 years or so, coming back to that one thing about being present. And it just gets, I think, overlooked because we hear it so often. People can sort of brush, oh yeah, I know that. But actually, are they doing it? Knowing and doing are two different things. Are you actually? Because you're right. We're distracted from morning till midnight. From your phone, from Facebook, from your email, from somebody ringing, from going to work. Sometimes we don't even have the time to just sit in the moment. And I love that. It's I know I struggle because I almost like want to go and interact, so they just observe, don't get involved, don't interact. You're not there to fix anything, just simply be.
Exactly. One good thing actually that I can give as a tip to everybody listening and watching it is, in the evenings, light a candle, because candle, I don't know what magic candle has, but it gives you peace. You don't have to meditate on the candle, watch the candle burn or something like that. Just in the background, have a candle, and it will help you relax.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does, doesn't it? Again, I suppose it is going back to the whole thing of, just because you can't see it with your physical sense, you can't see it with your eyes, you can't touch it, there's something about it. There's something more to a candle than we can see with our physical senses. Yeah, I would 100% agree. There's something very calming. Does it make absorbs negative energy? I don't know. It is part of it. So for you, when you intuitively, and I would sort of, going back to the difference between Reiki, maybe it's almost like we have to be doing something. So the whole hand movement maybe has come from, it's one up doing a massage. It's like people feel that they've got to do something, whereas you, because it's just intuitive, it's just in you. That would make sense to me, that you don't need to use your hands, whatever you're doing. So I'm saying that you are almost like you're diagonal, you can see where the energy is trapped. What do you do to remove it?
When I see it, actually, it's kind of like hide and seek. When I see it, it's automatically removed. So when I can do it with my eyes open, or I can do it with my eyes closed. So, for example, a client, I do most session on Zoom these days because of the COVID and lockdowns and something like that. So the 2 years that we are kind of like in and out of the lockdown, I was doing sessions on Zoom. So when I look at the person, I can have a picture or live person on the Zoom meeting video call, and when I tune in, I see blockages, and most of the time blockages, when I detect them, they will be removed, kind of like hide and seek. Okay, I find you, Tiki, you are, kind of like, okay, removed. But some things are kind of like stubborn, don't want to leave, and it will take time, kind of like they will it will. I'm saying they will, but okay, it will kind of like turn you around, kind of like, okay, but look at this and look at that. So it's not only that, for example, when somebody has a pain in the shoulder, that the pain actually is there. So it's kind of like, okay, I focus on the shoulder, and all of a sudden I'm directed to the knee, and I'm directed to the waist, or I'm directed to the lower back. So as we store things in our life, it's not one bag, but it's kind of like file cabinet, kind of like, okay, this goes in this cabinet, and this goes in this cabinet. So it's crisscross filing, if I may say so.
Okay, yeah. Wow. And that's, yeah, so that to me makes a lot of sense, because, so I'm more of a physical healer, so although not anymore. Again, the universe didn't want me to continue going down that particular route, weirdly. So as a sports therapist, it's very, hands-on, and okay, so it's how you do that and trying to figure out what the real problem is. But, what I'd say to people is an injury doesn't appear overnight unless you've had a fall, unless someone's run into you, unless there's been a trauma, there. Otherwise, if it's more chronic pain, it doesn't come on overnight. So something, whether that's been from the last months, has been building up, and then something you do is the final straw. And then, so that makes sense to me, that it might not have even come from that. So you might have had a tight hamstring, and the energy's, the injury has been there, and that hasn't get solved. And then now that's had a knock-on effect to something else in your body, and it's been a build-up. Because I don't know about you, but do you think that we tend to wait until it's almost like really painful to actually go and get it? We can put up with a lot before dealing with it. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, of course, but because there's also something called medicine that we take, and it's kind of like it removes the symptom, but it's not entirely removed.
The cause.
Exactly, it's not entirely removed. So for one period of time you are pain free, but all of a sudden the pain is stubborn. So it thinks kind of like, okay, so you didn't want to address the pain in your knees, so I will come back in your hip. And if you don't address that pain, I will come out somewhere that's kind of like more painful. So it's the buildup, kind of like the volcano burst.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in a way, obviously that's physical, but for you, was that not almost, the reason why you were made redundant? Because it is like the universe knocking, boom, 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 you're not listening. this is not meant for you. Can you follow your purpose? And you're la la la, you're listening.
Exactly.
So then
Can I give one example? Actually, maybe that will kind of like paint a picture for people listening. I'm sorry. I had one client who came to me in a session, and she said kind of like, I have that chronic pain in my shoulder. It comes up and it goes away. It comes up and it goes away. And when I sat with her and kind of like tuned into her energy, I was directed to her shoulder. Sometimes when I tune into the energy and somebody comes with an ailment, kind of like I have pain in my shoulder, and I'm directed totally different route, kind of, it's not the shoulder. Well, okay. One client came to me about her shoulder. When I tuned into her energy, I was kind of like, yeah, but it's kind of like the lava coming out of the volcano on your shoulder, because that's where you are. What's the word? Weak link.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So and I focused more on her energy, and I was directed to her heart.
Wow.
But what happened when I focused on her heart? All of a sudden, I stumbled on the brick wall, and it was the bricks were kind of like raging lava.
Wow.
So when I was focusing on her brick wall and removing that energy, what I noticed actually is every time I pull out a brick, all of a sudden other bricks appear in that place.
Build it.
Exactly, and I was asking her, okay, so about her life and about where she is now. Does she have family? Does she have children? But the nagging feeling in back of my head, kind of like came to me. She doesn't feel supported by her spouse. So I asked her about it. Do you feel supported by male in your family, perhaps your spouse? You don't go direct to saying kind of like, is spouse your thorn in the eye or something? And she was kind of like quiet and thinking, but I was still tuned in her field, and all of a sudden the raging lava went all over the place. I knew the answer before she gave me the answer. She said yes, yes. She grew up. Actually in a large family, six brothers, one sister, and in the community that she lives, kind of like the male in the family has more privileges than female, and that's why she built up the wall around her heart. And every time I took a brick out, all of a sudden another brick came into place. So I was removing the pain, but she didn't want to remove that pain. We had to do a couple of sessions actually, mentally to get her to turn that switch.
Right, interesting. So it was her way of dealing with the lack of support. So she felt she needed to be strong there. It's so, I do just find it totally fascinating. Like I said, I come from a very physical way of looking at things. I come from the fitness industry. It's all, you're looking at the body, and there's no spiritual, there's no woo-woo in there.
I can tell you a funny story to that, if I can interject. So my father's family is left brain, kind of like scientific kind of thing, facts, while my mom is more the right side of the brain, kind of like playing music, enjoying life, and something like that. So it was kind of like a challenge at times growing up in the family. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you need, we all need, and this is why I suppose we have this, because it isn't the mental, the physical, spiritual, it's the one. and we are all one. Oh, I mean, we are all one. But
Well,
because
it's kind of like the mirror.
we've separated it, haven't we? And it's interesting then that you've said that you could see the fact that this lady, the mental, I think people do understand now how much the mental can affect the body. You know, it's the same, it's got to manifest through the body. So the physical ailment can quite often have you seen that in the last sort of 2 years with all the madness that's going on? Have you seen a real difference in people in general? Because it's not physical pain we've gone through, it's all been up here. Have you noticed any change?
I can say about myself actually when it started, 2000, right? 2020,
Yeah.
2020, 21,
Beginning of 20.
something like that. And I had a rhythm, kind of like going, and having performing tasks and doing what needs to be done. But I felt kind of like the rhythm actually was here, and it kind of like pushed me down. It's kind of like not any it's not a rhythm anymore that we are going by, but you should slow down. And I've seen that throughout the years from 2020 to 2022, that the way of life, it's kind of like yeah, it's not fast anymore. Kind of like we went 2 steps back instead of one,
Yeah.
kind of
I
thing.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. And it's, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about the negative side of it. I still do believe that a lot of people in the last 2 years have gone what you went through before. Like you went through it. What year did you say when you were made redundant? When you made the decision to go into the healing?
It was the period between 2010 and 2012.
Right. So you went through your transition then. I would say there's a lot of people that have gone through their transition in the last 2 years because it's made purely because they weren't given a choice. They were made to stop, slow down, go home.
Yeah.
And then they start looking at their life and maybe going within. Are they on purpose? And I do hope that actually we'll hear stories coming out the end of it that actually that might have been the best decision, that might have been the best thing for them when they look back. Maybe not now. But because people weren't on purpose. And now I hope that some, not all, will maybe have found their purpose in the last 2 years and are now following that path. Have you seen that happen? Do you think that's happening around?
Absolutely. But it's kind of like we are still in that process of going in and coming out and going in and coming out. So it's not a clear path right now, but it's kind of like gradually going that way. And the pace is much slower, to be honest with you.
That might be a good thing.
For how I see it, actually, it's more that people are releasing being in their head and going into their body, into their heart.
Love that. I hope so.
Maybe you have seen some posts on social media where they're kind of like a picture where there is a brain and a heart. You kind of like closing the brain and opening the heart.
I hope you're right. I love that. I do hope so. I think maybe we're coming away from that. You know, everything is up here. Again, like you said, for your own life, you think you should be doing this, because that's what we're taught. And now, hopefully, it is. And I think maybe for me, definitely, I think that's definitely. I do feel like finally I've got work-life balance. I mean, we always want more, but I do, I choose not to work weekends anymore. I choose not to work in the evening. Now, this is our time. So I loved what you said earlier about the maybe energies not even from this lifetime, but maybe past life. So can you share? I'm fascinated by this subject. I do truly believe we are spiritual beings living in and why wouldn't we have had past lives? So have you explored other avenues of spiritual healing? So things like the past life regression and things like that. And what is matrix healing? Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So should I focus on the matrix healing at the moment and go to a past life regression, or should I start with this?
However you want to go with it.
Okay, so matrix healing. Actually, I do matrix healing. Matrix is overlays. So by birth, when we are born into this world through our parents, we are born into a bondage. The overlays that I'm talking about is that your heart is overlaid. The chakras, the 7 chakras are overlaid. So when you kind of like balance your chakras and you think kind of like, okay, I'm getting the energy. No, you are being drained through those through those points on your body. Now, who does those overlays? It's not disputed to this day, but it has to do with sourcing energy from living beings like us, humans. So your third eye has an overlay. You cannot see clearly. Your heart has an overlay. In general, we should have three chakras on our body, not 7, 3. So when you remove those chakras, there is no point of whoever is draining us to kind of like source the energy from those points. Let me see. There's also overlays in music. So when we are listening to music, and for example, the note E is overlaid by 1/4. So we are not getting the entire vibration of that note.
Wow. Is this to do with, am I off target? Because I have an app that plays my music through the 432 hertz rather than the hertz that I don't know who decided that music should be playing through. Is that linked with that, or am I off topic?
No, you're kind of like you are there, but the thing is the electronics, and we are listening to the music. It has a vibration actually that does kind of like vibrate our cells out of order. Kind of like not in balance, but slight disruption, if I may say so.
Yeah. Okay.
So to go back, actually, who does this? There are several things going around, but I am working with the Arcturian energies to kind of like get those overlays. Remove those overlays. To be honest with you, I can send you a 33-page document on Matrix, kind of like for to familiarize yourself with. But in general, because the time is short that we are here, I can tell you this much about Matrix. So if you have any questions, please.
Oh wow, I love it. This is a subject. Oh goodness, I could go on. Did you say Arcturians?
Yes.
Oh, Love it, love it. Oh, this is a subject that I could go on, that I could listen to for absolutely hours. It absolutely, fascinates me.
Yeah.
So we are being trained.
Yes, we are being drained. We are being sourced for the energy. That's true. That's true.
I know it. I know it. I know
So
it.
the first time when when I read the document actually, and I thought kind of like, duh, this is it, and I went for it. It didn't take 2 days actually for me, kind of like to go through the session. What I felt actually after doing the session, I felt kind of like I was set in a bubble, kind of like a fetus kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
After the session, I felt not in bondage anymore. Kind of like having the space to breathe, having the space to stretch, and all of a sudden, it's kind of like the energy or the daylight, the light was brighter. So the people in addiction, kind of like who are drinking or smoking, when they stop drinking and smoking, they notice, and it's recorded, that all of a sudden you can see more.
Things more.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, we could do another talk about the Matrix. I like
Absolutely.
that. I like
Absolutely.
that. I love it. I'm open to it all. I don't know. None of us know. And I think so for people listening, you might think, oh, we have definitely gone off on a tangent on the woo-woo. Love the woo-woo. We all need a bit of woo-woo in our lives.
And there are some organizations actually known in the media that are kind of like how do you say, having dips on our energy.
Okay. And they're noticing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I can believe that. So, okay. So that's the Matrix. So I know we've only got now, but let's dip into the whole past life regression thing.
Absolutely. So the past life regression session, I'm not advertising it, but I do that also. First of all, I went through so many sessions myself because I was so fascinated and wanted to see actually how that will affect my life, or what did I bring from my past lives actually into this life. And it is when you go into the session, and you kind of go into the field. May I say field? And it's vast. You have to always have 3 points of focus. What you want to see, what you want to experience, and well, the third one is optional, And when I go sometimes myself to the field, or to the spirit world, I notice actually I'm greeted always by a high figure, and I receive actually entrance, and go to the time and place what I want to see. Sometimes I don't get to see that, but I go to a healing castle, or a healing place when I can heal. And let me see. So in those sessions that I went through, I have seen so many places and so many planets that I've been on, that actually kind of like is, should I believe that, right? Or should I see that as somebody reading me a story? So I decided actually kind of like in everything is a grain of truth. And I am excited that I went through those sessions and seen my past lives. For example, in one life on Atlantis, I was a high priestess. Can you imagine? Can you imagine going so far in time, and you are on your couch, actually in the living room?
Unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
I do those sessions, and people are excited about hearing things about their past lives. I do get some people kind of like, oh, well, okay, maybe I'm up for a session. Can you do that for me? You have to always have focus, because
Yeah.
when you don't have a focus, you go into the spiritual world, and all of a sudden you are at a place that you don't want to be.
Oh, I don't know. Yes, that I don't think that would be very nice. So but why would people come to you for that? For what reason? What are they trying to solve?
Some people have gone through their life, kind of like having bad experiences time and time again, and they think they're cursed. So this is one example that I'm giving. And they want to see kind of like, okay, so for example, they are cursed in the way kind of like they're always broke. They cannot get ahead in life, and they want to know how that relates actually to their past life. Did they take in the past life kind of like vow of poverty, and that spilled actually to this life, or what has been going on in the previous life about the subject of money. It can be that they were pagan and were robbed actually of their savings. It can be that somebody actually married into wealth, regardless if they loved that person or not.
Wow. It's just the whole thing is just such a fascinating subject. But and if it's helping people, it's helping people, right? To be able to, why do you think you've had this gift from birth? Why do you think some people are open to these? Hang on, what am I asking here? Do you think these abilities are available to all, and somehow you've tapped into it from birth? Or is it, why is it that some people seem to have these gifts and others not?
We all have a choice when we incarnate in our lives to come and experience what we choose. Some people choose to experience healing. Some people choose to experience office, going to office. Some people incarnate in the life and want to be inventing stuff. So why am I? I think because my parents, I'm born of two powerful psychics. They never did anything about their gifts. They never did anything about their gifts. But what I felt actually, regardless that I have two siblings, I felt in my late teens their gifts, all their gifts poured into me. So it can be that my grandparents didn't do anything about it. My great parents didn't do anything about it, and it's kind of like builds up, and all of a sudden weak link.
Have it. It's not the weak link, it's a strong one ready to allow it.
Kind of like, use me.
Yeah, I'll have it. I'll take it all. I love this. So, it's just so fascinating. I could talk to you for hours. So, for you, and I know you coach, so can you, if anybody is listening and are just fascinated, as I am, how would they get into what is it that you offer? I know you're a coach as well. Do you incorporate the healing in with your coaching? I know you sort of mentioned about Tony Robbins.
Yes, I did coaching with Tony Robbins. Yes.
Awesome. So for any of the listeners, what would you say? What is your main focus? You're an intuitive healer. You do the past life, you do the matrix, and you do coaching. What would you have to offer the listeners? How would they get in touch with you?
Okay, what I'm understanding actually, how do I do everything that I know, right? Do I do that in one session, or kind of like do I schedule that in
do you have
several
a
sessions?
package? Do you have different packages? How do you work?
I have different packages. I have a kind of like first session when we get together and go through things. What people want, if people want only a healing, if people want to remove blockages actually to reach certain goals in life, or people only want coaching, or people only want a matrix removal, the overlays, the matrix healing. So the first session is always kind of like orientation. So the person and the needs, wants, and desires of the client, and from there on, I can draw up a plan, and we can get to work with it. How people can reach me? I have a website. It's on Kartra, and it's Nina on Kartra. I don't know if I can share that with you.
Yeah, you'll give me the links, but I'm just sort of thinking of the people that are just listening.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get them to you? So Nina.
On Kartra, actually, Nina, and on Kartra. So you will be directed actually to my page.
On can you spell that for the listeners?
Kartra.
Kartra. Fantastic. So yes. Nina at Kartra.com. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to put in the.
So Kartra.com. Right. Yeah. All the links will be below. But I was just thinking.
Thank you so much.
I was just thinking for the listeners, if they're listening, Kartra.com. So go to that website.
Or easiest way to kind of like find me is on Facebook and on IG. In Instagram. So on Facebook it's actually Nina Masic Healer, and on Instagram it's kind of like Nina of NL, of Nina of NL. So it's kind of like shorter.
Of NL. There you go, listeners. So
because we're in the Netherlands.
Fantastic. Well, what a range of subjects. So healing can be, so anything. If you're struggling with anything, get in touch. I mean, I love the idea, and it's interesting that you did sort of mention about, don't get me started, medicine. It almost feels like and before listeners cry out, it's done a lot of good for certain things. And then there are other things that, like you say, have they blocked? Have they, it's not caused the real root healing that maybe some people want. Like you say, it's we'll take a painkiller because we're in pain for that moment, for that emergency, just to stop the pain. But then we've all got to realise that at some point we've got to look up why we were getting that pain and solve the problem. And I get it that people are busy and they just want the pain to stop. But as you've just proved, and with previous clients, it will build up and it will build up, and until you actually address it. And I think these last 2 years, maybe that's stopped us. It's made us stop in our tracks and say to ourselves, look, if we're ill or we get a pain, that's our body being told, stop. You're overdoing it. You're burnt out like you were burnt out with your corporate job. Stop. Go home, rest, recuperate. But we've been somehow lost because we are expected from our bosses or the manager. No, you've got to keep going. Take that cold and flu tablet. get dosed up and keep going. Whereas maybe this is what we needed to learn at this time, to actually know there is a reason why we have that thing in place. And it is to say, you're on burnout, you're burning the candle at both ends, go home, sleep, drink plenty of water, all the sort of normal things, supplement, reboost, heal, and then come back out when you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it right, because most people don't drink enough water. They're not hydrated. And most people actually who are kind of like on a fast lane, as you said, kind of like working. The breathing does does the trick, you know. So you have 3 phases of breathing. Children breathe always from depth of their tummy. Grown-ups breathe from their chests. Seniors breathe from their throat. So the deeper breathing, actually, the more relaxed you are. So if you are kind of like going through the day and you are waiting for the parking place somewhere near the supermarket kind of thing, and you see one place and somebody else snatch it, you know. So just deep breathing. Don't go into anything kind of like, yeah, I saw it first, and so no. Just breathe deeply, and all of a sudden you see an opportunity, another place open up, and you can park.
There you go. So that's really sounds like you're telling the listeners really to just genuinely be more intuitive. We get, like you said, we get so caught up in this part of our head and the thinking mode, and oh, he's just gone into that space. And actually, it's only when we step back and breathe that, because if your focus is on that person that's done you wrong, you're not going to turn and see the space that was actually over there.
If you are focusing on that person who done you wrong, guess what? You get more person that are going to do you wrong, you know.
There you go. The laws of attraction. I mean, they are. And so to those listening, even if you're not into the, trust me, I mean, it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. I 100% believe that it is on. It's switched on 24/7. It's working perfectly every day, whether you choose to believe it or not. So
it's mandatory.
Why not go with it rather than fight against it? That's my
kind of like small acts of kindness build up over the years, you know.
Love that, and that is, that is the thing, that if people stopped trying to get before they gave, what a world we would live in. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally believe that you can't even do anything good without it coming back to you, whether it's from the same person or doubtful somewhere else another time, it's going to come back. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this session.
Absolutely.
I certainly have. Absolutely fascinating.
Thank you so much for having me.
You really are dealing with everything from the mental, the physical, and the spiritual perspective. So I love it when I get guests like you that cover all aspects, because we are one and we want it all in balance, even if you don't believe it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I do live by one quote. Actually, I heard Mother Teresa say. Can I share that with you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So she's. I'm kind of like shortening the quote. So she said, kind of like, if you want to help me, go outside and see in every person you see Jesus. In every person you see Jesus, because every person you see, they are a reflection of you.
There you go.
And I do that every day. When I go shopping, when I go outside or whatever, every person I see kind of like, okay, that's Jesus.
Well, we have these two options, don't we? We either see the good or we see the bad. And a lot of people just been conditioned to focus on the negative. Whereas if you make it like, so basically you've just said you made a decision that you're going to go out and see Jesus in everyone. So choose to see the good. Guys, you all have the choice. You choose to see the good or the negative. So it's entirely up to you.
Also one exercise that I adopted actually, because everybody I see is the reflection of me, right? And I do that also, kind of like, okay, when
So
I
it's
see
continuing
somebody at a cash register, I'm kind of like, oh, what am I doing today? You know,
There you go.
Kind of like little games that I play. Sometimes.
Awesome. Love that. So thank you so much for your time. To the listeners, thank you for listening, and I will be back next week with a coffee with Karen. Bye for now.
Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.